Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. It was an awesome, electric 11 games slate we had tonight. A lot of great games, a lot of great scoring. We saw some absolutely terrific performances, and we're going to talk about all of those tonight in the DFS Sweatshop. First, I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Without you guys, man, none of this would be possible. I also want to extend a salute to all of the members that made it from YouTube into the VIP Facebook group, and most importantly, all of those that have subscribed via website since then. If you would like to join the DFS Sweatshop family, it is as simple as going to our website, www.dfs.com, and registering there. Upon your paid subscription, you will be receiving daily emails, cheat sheets, spreadsheets, and more specifically, my core four plays. And it's not just about the plays. Sometimes they're on point, sometimes they're not. The way I do it, 4 out of 10 slates, I hit and I double, triple, quadruple my buy-in, like I did tonight. So the core four was a very good uh, play today. All the guys did really well. That's the first thing we're gonna do. We're gonna go with the regular formatting of the show where we talk about. I do my core four review, and this is simply to let you know that I'm an honest DFS player. The only reason why I released my core four to you, whether it does good or bad, is because I want you to trust that the guys that I'm talking about, when I send those emails out uh, to the guys in the subscribe guys from the website, when I send you those emails out and I tell you my player pool, that is what it is. When we're in the VIP in the Facebook group, when I post what I post in there, those are the players that I'm using. You're gonna see me up and down the leaderboard, sometimes high, sometimes under you. I'm just a regular guy just like you, but I have chosen to share my DFS journey with all of you. Let's start with our core four review. Now, not only I'm going to tell you about the plays, I'm going to tell you what I was thinking. Now, uh, in the Boston, we're going to start with Avery Bradley because in the Boston and Houston game, I didn't really like Isaiah Thomas. I thought that he was going to be the hardest of all of the high dollar point guards to get me to that value. He was going to be the hardest guy to get 6x. I love Isaiah Thomas. I love his game, but I just didn't see him uh, doing that well. And when I have a guy that's that good that I don't think is going to do well, I automatically look to what what guy next to him is going to be in a better position because of the bad positioning that he was in, and it immediately jumped out to me that Avery Bradley would be a good play. Now he didn't set the world on fire, but he didn't hurt the core four. He went out at 6.3K in salary. He scored 33 DraftKings points, just a little bit under that 6x value that we really wanted. We wanted him to get about 38 DraftKings points. So we fell about 5 points lower than what we thought. The 8% ownership was pretty decent. Shooting guard was tough to figure out if you didn't go to some guys we're going to talk about later on. But I stayed pretty much around Avery Bradley. Either I paid to him or I paid all the way down, and we're going to talk about that too. So Avery Bradley was a decent play in the core four. Didn't really set the world on fire, but he was a decent play. The next guy we're going to get into is going to be John Wall. Now, John Wall was definitely the chalkiest of the good point guards on the slate. We all knew that everybody wasn't going to pay up for Russell Westbrook. Everybody wasn't going to pay up for Harden. Lillard, people are kind of bullish on Lillard at times. But John Wall means so much to his team that I knew that everybody else that's just as smart as I am would roster him. And at 27% ownership, which is very high on an 11-game slate, he went out and scored 51 DraftKings points, right about where we needed him at that 8.9K salary. Pretty good game we had from John Wall. The next guy was a play that I just loved. I really liked this play. As soon as I saw the slate, he was one of the first guys that jumped out to me. This was Kevin Love at 7.9K. We needed him to get about 48 DraftKings points to meet that 6x value for us. He gave us one extra point. He went for 49 at 8.7% owned. Really nice ownership for him. And the last play to round up the core four was the one that see, my projections are my projections. And when I plug them in and it spits out what it spits out, that's what I give to you and that's what I play. That's the system. I just trust the process. I did not like this play. Danilo Gallinari, I really did not like that play very much. But from what I got from my projections, it said that he was in line to have a really good game, and he did just that. I mean, I was nervous when I told him to you guys, but that's just the process that I have, and that's what I'm sticking to. So Danilo Gallinari at 5.5K, 7.2% ownership, the lowest owned guy in the core four. He went out and definitely returned that 6x value and then some. He had 40 DraftKings points. That is about 7x. Really nice game we had from Danilo Gallinari. So the combined total was 83 DraftKings points, a couple of points higher than we originally set out. So that was a very, very good showing from the core four. If you had them and you used them, you can tip your waiter. If you use one or two of them, I hope it all worked out well for you and you did join me in the 300 club, and some of you even got to the big winners circle. And for that, we take a swig at the Crown Apple. Nice. Now, we're going to jump into the most talked about, most tweeted about players on the night. And before we get into that, I'm going to do some live chat stuff, especially with the VIP members in the Facebook group. But I'm working a couple jobs right now. Of course, I'm a barber during the day, and I'm a waiter at night. So when I get free spaces before lock, I'm definitely going to be jumping on, and we're going to be able to mix it up and chop it up before lock, because I know I'm tired of listening to the other people right before lock, and they're lying to me about people that they're playing. We don't do that in the DFS sweatshop. We keep it 300. So let's go ahead and jump into the who dat. Scoring all them points over there, player of the night. It definitely goes to Sweet Lou Williams. I'm talking about this dude was fumbling and bumbling and falling and stumbling and knocking down every shot that he took, man. Very good game we saw from Sweet Lou Williams. 5.8K was the salary on him. He was 4% owned and went out and scored 58.5 DraftKings points, exceeded 10x value. If you had him in your lineup, I know he brought you closer to the cash line. The next play we're going to talk about is going to be the how did I miss that play tonight? This is a guy that you skimmed over. You may have glossed over him. Probably didn't take into consideration the situation that he was in, which requires him to be a major factor on the team when it comes to points, rebounding, assists, everything. And you missed on this because I missed on this. This dude was only 2% owned. I'm talking about Marc Gasol. He went out and at 7.6K, 2% ownership, scores 70.75 DraftKings points. Excellent game from you, Marc Gasol. You are the how did I miss that play of the night. The next guy is going to be the heat check play tonight. And if you watched any basketball this evening, there is no doubt in your mind that Klay Thompson went the fuck off. The dude had 68 DraftKings points and 60 real life points. So he didn't do nothing but shoot. He didn't do anything but shoot. And he shot it well. Very great game we saw from Klay Thompson at 6.6K, 8% ownership. He was your late night hammer, went out and scored 68 DraftKings points, exceeded that 10x value for you. If you had him and Gasol, you're sitting pretty right now. I know you're sitting pretty right now. Now, we're going to get into that one motherfucker. And this is the type of shit I like. Because this is a motherfucker who was on this hot streak and I could never get on him. Just something about it. I just didn't want to play the motherfucker. I just didn't want to, right? So when I look at this next slate coming up, yesterday looking at this slate coming up, I said, damn, I should take a shot on this motherfucker, man. He done been scoring all these points, jumping off of the bench, balling hard. You know what I'm saying? I might as well get this dude a shot. But then my better judgment told me, you know what? I like the other guy on the team. I love Danilo Gallinari. He's in my projection. I'm not playing no damn Wilson Chandler. And guess what? You a motherfucking snowflake, Wilson, with your snowflake ass. How you gonna lead us to believe that you done took the league by storm, going out scoring 30, 40, 50 DraftKings points, And then when it's crunch time, when I'm really thinking about rostering you, when people are on you, when your ownership is up to 18%, when you're higher owned than the real star on the team, Danilo Gallinari, you go out and you score 19.5 DraftKings points. Man, you a motherfucking snowflake. Your snowflake ass. Fuck out of here. This dude is a bench player. You ain't even a starter. You ain't even a starter, dog. How you think you can demand 7K, 6.8K in salary from us? Your bench warming ass. Fucking snowflake. Moving with the rest of the show. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna jump into my best DraftKings lineup. And this is just so yet again, a reason why I do this is just to keep it honest, man. Just so you know that the guys I'm talking about are the guys I'm playing. Some of you may see me somewhere on the leaderboard here and there. Let's go hit up DraftKings right quick. Some of you may see me on the leaderboards here and there. A lot of us are changing our avatars to the DFS sweatshop because we're taking it by storm. That's what we're doing. You may see us on there sometime. When you see us, say, what's up? We're going to go ahead. We're going to jump into my best lineup. I want you to see something. I had a lot of, since we talk about snowflakes, I had a lot of this on my lineup. You see that dude right there? Nick Stauskas? There. 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 So I split shooting guard between Avery Bradley and Nick Stauskas, and I put 10 lineups in, and either I was 50% Avery Bradley, 50% Nick Stauskas. And let me tell you, that's what you call too much sauce. Nick, you would have been a motherfucking snowflake of the night, but I didn't want to make it personal. I didn't want to make this about me. But you would have definitely been the snowflake of the night if I didn't have to adhere to the rules I set for myself in front of all of these people. Nick, you would have been a motherfucking snowflake with your snowflake ass. Too much sauce. Let's jump into the best DraftKings lineup that I could put together tonight. Here we go. Now, this lineup kind of encapsulates the last show that we did in its entirety, everything, because there's a few things that I really talked about that I liked. I loved the Cleveland stack. We're gonna talk about that. I loved, of course, my core four players, and then we talked about the industry play, the industry chalk play, and we also talked about the play that we get from the league when we have an injury and somebody needs to step in. Now, the core four players we have here is Avery Bradley, who scored the 33 DraftKings points. We've got Kevin Love, who scored the 49 DraftKings points, and Danilo Gallinari, who scored the 40 DraftKings points. Now, John Wall is missing from this lineup. What happened was I wanted to make this a Cleveland stack. I wanted to get up to LeBron James, so we came down from John Wall, went to Sergio Rodriguez. We were able to pay up for James, and we still had enough to roster Joel Embiid, who was the industry chalk play. We knew he was going to be highly owned. And if the dude goes out and scores 40, 50 DraftKings points, we felt like we would have been left behind. So we went with the industry play. That's why he wasn't even in the core four, because I did like him anyway. But I knew he was going to be an industry chalk, so we went here. Then, when the news comes out later on in the afternoon about Drew Holiday not playing, well, that's the NBA giving us a play. And what it gave us was Tim Frazier. Now, the only way that I could fit these guys in was if I punted the center position, and I did that with Jaja Pachulia, and he ended up at 3.2K, getting me 24.25 DraftKings points. That was a pretty good play. Now, if a few other things break in this lineup, save like Joel Embiid, all of the people that scored 300 points that had Joel Embiid, we are the people that would have been at the damn near at the top of the leaderboard if he did go off. 40% of us would have shot to the top. So this lineup finished with 305.75 DraftKings points. So I did make it inside of the 300 club. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go ahead and pull pull up the player pricing for tomorrow's 6-game slate, just so that we can jump straight into it, because I know you really want to get into that. Just gonna set that right there for you. Now we're gonna jump into um, just a brief recap, as brief as I can be, running through last night's games, and we do that because we've got to know where we've come from in order to know where we're trying to get to. Okay, so we're gonna start um, in Philadelphia, where the Denver Nuggets were in town taking on the 76ers. Now, this is a pretty good game for 3 quarters, man. It was a really good game for 3 quarters. Denver separated themselves midway through the 4th quarter, but on the Denver side, we already talked about a good game we saw from Danilo Gallinari, 24 points to go with 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. We also saw an excellent game from Will Barton in his second game back from injury. He played 35 minutes and had 22 points to go with 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Nice game from him. Wilson Chandler, the snowflake of the night. We already talked about him. Let's not even mention them weak-ass numbers he had. And Jamal Murray jumped off of the bench and had 22 to go with 3 rebounds and 2 assists. Now, Yusuf Nurkic looked like he was going to run away with an award at the beginning of the game, but he kind of cooled off in the second half, and he did finish with 8 points, 10 boards, 1 assist, and 2 steals to go with 3 blocks. Moody, a horrible game from him. He was almost a snowflake of the night, but I don't think that people were very high on Moody anyway. So let's go over to the Philadelphia 76ers side. Nick Stauskas, Sauce, played 34 minutes. How the fuck you play 34 minutes and score 4 points and get 3 rebounds and 5 assists and 1 block? That's just horrible. And you're starting for Robert Covington. Horrible game from Nick Stauskas. We saw Ersan Ilyasova for 36 minutes. He had 17 points to go with 8 boards, 2 assists, and 2 steals. Saw a pretty nice game from Gerald Henderson, man. He's the player that I normally play. If Robert Covington plays and we never hear anything about, oh, I think Nick Stauskas is going to be starting. If that doesn't happen, then I play Gerald Henderson. He's somebody who I always like because he stays cheap and he can shoot. Gerald Henderson had 14 points, 5 boards, 1 assist, and 3 steals. Pretty good game from him. Sergio went ham. He had a nice one. 17 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 steals at that 5K price point. That was a good game. Now, Rashawn Holmes decided to check in this game too, and in 18 minutes, he had 11 points and 8 boards to go with an assist and 2 blocks. Nice game from him. We also saw a decent game from Dario Saric. He was definitely in the player pool that we released earlier today. He had 17 points and 8 boards with a steal. Nice game from Dario Saric. The next game is going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers going to Toronto, and this was a pretty good game. It stayed close throughout. Cleveland pulled away for a little bit in the 4th, and then Toronto tried to make their little comeback too. So we saw the full allotment of minutes on the Cleveland side, which is what we wanted. LeBron James in 42 minutes had 34 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals. And I had a feeling in this game he just would not be denied, man. He had a great game. Kevin Love in 37 minutes had 28 points to go with 14 boards. Nice game from him. We saw Tristan Thompson score 6 points and grab 14 boards to go with a couple of blocks and an assist. Nice game from him. J.R. Smith got hurt in this game, so that's something that we want to keep an eye on going forward. Kyrie Irving had 24 to go with 2 rebounds and 7 assists, and I believe for J.R. Smith it was a knee injury, so we want to be on the lookout for those situations. We didn't see much off of the Cleveland bench. We had Channing Frye for 19 minutes. He had 10 points to go with 5 boards and 2 assists. On the Toronto side of the ball, DeMarre Carroll, man, after getting our hopes up, making us think for just a moment that he was coming back into the form that got on that big contract where it looked like he stole the money. He only had 8 points and 3 assists with a steal in 33 minutes. Got a lot of playing time, not a lot of production. DeMar DeRozan eclipsed the 30-point mark. He had 31 points to go with 5 assists, 3 steals, and 1 rebound. Saw a really nice game from Kyle Lowry. 1 more assist would have been good. It would have took him to the double-double bonus, but he had 24 points to go with 3 rebounds, 9 assists, and 1 steal. Nice game from him. We saw Pat jump off of the bench and get 12 points and 9 boards. Nice game from him at that salary. And Terrence Ross had 4 blocks. Nice. 1 assist, 1 rebound, and 14 points. Good game from Terrence Ross. The next game we're going to get into is going to be the Brooklyn Nets at home against the Washington Wizards. You already know we had our fair share of John Wall, just like most other people on the slate, and he went out in 35 minutes and had 25 points, 13 assists, 3 steals, and 1 rebound. Martin Gortat, a really nice play, had 10 points and 12 boards with 2 blocks and 2 assists. We saw Markieff Morris have a very slow start, but he did ended up making value in the end. I believe on FanDuel he was like 4.7. That was a steal because he had 16 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and 4 steals. Otto Porter fouled out in 36 minutes, but he did get 18 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, and 3 steals. This was definitely a stackable offense as 7 players reached double figures for the Washington Wizards. We saw Kelly Oubre for 17 minutes. He had 10 points and 5 rebounds after Otto Porter was out. Bradley Beal, not a great game from him. I completely faded Beal. I didn't have him anywhere. He had 18 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals for him. On the Brooklyn side, it's so hard for me to roster Sean Kilpatrick, but the guy just keeps on going out and playing well. He had 21 points, 6 boards, 4 assists, and 1 steal. We saw a very nice game from Trevor Booker, 14 and 14, with an assist, a steal, and 2 blocks. And Brook Lopez had 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 25 points. Nice game from Bojan Bogdanovic. He had 18 points to go with 2 assists and 3 rebounds. Pretty nice game from him. Didn't see very much else off of the Brooklyn bench. Now we're going to go to Atlanta, where the Oklahoma City Thunder came to town. And did they come to town? No, did they go to town? Because Russell Westbrook, man, he is at it again, man. 33 points, 32 points, 33 minutes, 13 rebounds, 12 assists, a triple-double again for the boy. He had 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block to go with that, too. We saw a nice game from Steven Adams coming off of that injury. He still went out and had a double-double, 10 rebounds to go with 12 points and a steal. Didn't see much from Sabonis or Roberson, but Anthony Morrow, man, he's been shooting kind of hot off of the bench. He had 15 points and 3 boards to go with an assist. Now, some of us thought that maybe we'd see some really good play from Cantor because Steven Adams had that injury and maybe he just wouldn't be able to be as mobile and move around. But nah, man, we didn't see shit from Enes Kanter. Horrible game from him. And outside of a really nice dunk, Victor Oladipo had 14 points and 6 rebounds to go with 2 assists and a steal. Not a great game from Vic Oladipo. On the Atlanta side, Thabo filled up the stat sheet in every way. Had 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals, and 2 blocks. Nice game from him. Paul Millsap in his first game back from injury had 24 points to go with 5 rebounds and 4 assists with 3 steals, and he played 38 minutes. So I guess Paul Millsap is fine. Kent Bazemore had 0 points, and that's why you're dead to me. Kent Bazemore, he had 0 points. Played 17 minutes, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Not a great game at all from him. Dennis Schroeder, who I loved coming into this game. I had him in a few different spots. He had 17 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals. Nice game from him. Kyle Korver dropped in 15 points and had 2 rebounds to go with an assist and 2 steals. And Timmy Hardaway Jr., who threw the game away, fumbling the ball around in the last second. They could have sent it in overtime. He had 12 points to go with 3 rebounds and 3 assists with a steal. The next game we're going to get into is going to be a game that I didn't have any piece of. The only guy that I had in this game was a fucking snowflake by the name of Jerry Grant. What's up, Jerry? Snowflake ass. On the Portland side, we saw a really nice game from CJ McCollum. 24 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists. Nice game for him. Leading the team in scoring was definitely Dame Lillard. He had 30 points, 7 assists, 4 boards, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Allen Crabbe was hot shooting off of the bench. He had 17 points, 5 assists, a steal, and 2 steals, and 1 assist. Nice game from him. We saw a limited version of Al-Farouq Amino. He's getting it back together. In the small amount of time he was in the game, he did fill up the stat sheet a little bit. Mo Harkless, man, he had 8 boards, 11 points, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Pretty decent game from Mo Harkless. On the Chicago side, now Rajon Rondo, he gets scratched out later on in the afternoon. He got suspended for conduct detrimental to the team. They say he's going to be back tomorrow. So he went out, and in Jerry Grant, man, 23 minutes. He had 5 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. Not a good game at all from him. Dwayne Wade led the team in scoring with 34 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal. Nice game from Dwayne Wade. Jimmy Butler in 36 minutes had 26 points to go with 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. Nice game from him. And Robin Lopez in a return, well, Portland's return to Chicago, whatever, because he used to play for Portland. He had 7 points and 14 boards to go with 2 assists and 2 blocks. Pretty decent game from him from that price point. And we finally saw Nikolai Mirotic get into the action, shooting hot with 18 points, grabbing 7 boards, having 2 steals and 2 blocks. The next game we're going to get into is going to be the Milwaukee Bucks at home against the San Antonio Spurs. Now, I completely faded this game. I didn't have anyone in any lineup on either side of the ball. I just completely faded this game, and I'm kind of glad I did. Kawhi Leonard in 30 minutes, he had 21 points and 9 boards to go with 2 blocks. Not an awesome game for him at all. Paul Gasol was the only guy that I kind of liked, but I still couldn't fit him anywhere into my rosters. He had 15 points and 9 rebounds to go with an assist and a block. Not a great game we saw from Tony Parker. He had 6 points, 1 rebound, and 5 assists. LaMarcus Aldridge had 18 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists to go with the steal and the block. Pretty nice game from him. We saw Manu Ginobili for 20 minutes. He only had 6 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 4 steals. On the Milwaukee side of the ball, Giannis Antetokounmpo had a double-double, 22 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. Not what you really want from him. 29 minutes of him. We needed to see more minutes, like high 30s minutes, in order for him to really get what he needed to get from them. Jabari Parker actually led the team in scoring. He was the best player of the game. He had 23 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Nice game from him. Greg Monroe grabbed a double-double off of the bench, had 13 rebounds and 10 points to go with 2 assists. Nice game from him. And Mirza Teletovic had 11 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 block. Next game we're going to get into. This game went into 2 overtimes. This is where your heat check, your how did I miss that play of the night came in with Memphis traveling to New Orleans to take on the Pelicans after we knew Etuan Moore and Jrue Holiday were going to be scratched. So that did make way for Langston Galloway, and he had a nice game, 35 minutes, 26 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. And once you get the news that him and Etuan Moore were going to be out of the game, Jrue Holiday and Etuan Moore, that should have automatically put Langston Galloway in play. He was only 2% owned. I don't know how I missed that. If you had him in your lineups, he definitely helped you get to the cash line. Anthony Davis started off very slow, but he ended up getting 28 points, 17 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 4 blocks. But that's still not enough for that $11K salary. But he healed. He actually started the game and had 8 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. Not too much we saw from Terrence Jones, 10 points and 8 boards to go with an assist and a block. On the Memphis side, let's just go over that stat line, man, that Marc Gasol had, man. Very great game from him. He had 28 points, 11 boards, 11 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Excellent. 70.75 DraftKings points. That was nice. Tony Allen, man, he really went the fuck off. He had 14 boards, 19 points, 3 steals, and 1 block. And we've got to think about this. This is the veteran leadership. Now, while Mike Conley is out, we're going to see some Tony Allen. We're going to see some Tony Allen. We're even going to see some Tony Douglas soon. So I liked that play. That was a really nice play, and it went over a lot of people's heads because he was very low owned. Andrew Harrison in 40 minutes had 12 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. And there's not too much else to talk about. Jeff Green, he did grab 15 boards. Jermichael Green, he did grab 15 boards, but he only had 5 points, an assist, and a steal to go with that. Next game we'll get into, so it'll be the Houston Rockets at home against the Boston Celtics. We talked a little bit about this game when I talked about Avery Bradley and how I did not like Isaiah Thomas. He went out and played 33 minutes. He had 20 points and 2 rebounds with 3 assists and 2 steals, but it just wasn't the IT2 game that you needed to really make a dent in tournaments. Jay Crowder, 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists for him. Al Horford had 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists, and lost the game-winning layup. Should have went up and dunked it. Avery Bradley had 10 rebounds and 16 points to go with an assist and a steal. Nice game from Avery Bradley. On the Houston side of the ball, Trevor Ariza, he was like, we didn't think he was going to be playing, but he ended up going in and having a fairly decent game. He had 8 rebounds and 15 points to go with 1 assist and 2 blocks. Clint Capella was 1 rebound shy of that double-double. He had 11 points, 9 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block. Pretty good. Patrick Beverley, 9 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists to go with a steal. But James Harden, man, he fell 2 rebounds and 2 assists shy of another triple-double. He had 37 points, 8 boards, 8 assists, 3 steals, and you gotta love Eric Gordon and the way he's really taken a hold to this bench role. He is like the first guy off of the bench, and he goes in and he plays well on most nights. He had 19 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, and 1 steal. And the kid Decker, man, he really shitted everybody to think that he was going to be something off of the bench. He was going to be able to play and play well. He really didn't, man. He had 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 steal. Not a nice game from him. The next game we're going to get into, the Dallas Mavericks at home against the Charlotte Hornets. Now, I was not super high on Kemba Walker in this game, but I did have him in some spots. But we saw a really nice game from Nick Batum, man. He had 15 boards, 14 points, and 7 assists. And this is kind of a replay of what just happened. They just played him the other day, and Nick Batum had 50 DraftKings points. So I don't know why you didn't think that would have been a good play. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist got his first double-double of the season. He had 12 rebounds, 11 points, 1 assist, and 1 block. Nice game from him. Cody Zeller, not a very good game, 12 points and 2 rebounds for him. Frank Kaminsky got the start, but he didn't play well at all. He had 6 points and 3 boards. That was it. We saw 16 and 6 from Marco Bellinelli with 2 assists. Nice game from him there at that price point. And Jeremy Lamb in 21 minutes had 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. On the Dallas side of the ball, we saw a really nice game from Harrison Barnes. He had 29 points to go with 7 assists and 2 steals. 2 assists and a steal. Darren Williams, man, a double-double passing the ball. 13 dimes to go with 15 points. Nice game from him. Had a rebound as well. Dwight Powell off of the bench had 15 and 7. Nice game from him. Not too much else to think about. As we saw in this game, the Dave Finney-Smith guy, he had 1 point and 2 rebounds in 25 minutes. Horrible game from him. On the next game we're going to talk about, it's going to be the LA Lakers at the crib with the Utah Jazz coming in. Saw a really good game from Gordon Hayward. He was somebody who I really liked all day long. He had 23 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. Boris Diaw played 26 minutes and had 12 points and 2 rebounds with 4 assists. We saw an excellent game from Rudy Gobert, man. He went up and came down with 17 boards and 14 points to go with 5 blocks, an assist, and a steal. Nice game from Rudy Gobert. Rodney Hood was definitely a part of the action. In 30 minutes, he had 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. We also saw Joe Ingles jump off the bench and score 7 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. On the LA Lakers side of the ball, this is where the who that scoring all them points over there player of the night came from. I told you, Sweet Lou was stumbling and bumbling and fumbling all over the place and knocking down shots. I'm talking about ripping cores. Sweet Lou was doing it last night. He ended up with 38 points. Now, this is his second total of that or higher in the last 2 games. So Lou Williams is shooting hot right now. He had 38 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, and 1 steal. And the dude usually doesn't do anything on the peripherals, but he had an awesome game tonight. Really great game from Lou Williams. We saw Jordan Clarkson for 38 minutes, and he had 17 points to go with 5 rebounds. Julius Randle with the handle had 11 rebounds and 11 points to go with a steal and an assist. Pretty good game from him. Not too much else we saw. Brandon Ingram, man, I don't know what to think about him. He only had 4 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. I mean, I'm just ready for D'Angelo Russell to come back. Then we can roster some Lakers with confidence and a little more spots. The last game on the slate is going to be the Golden State Warriors at home against the Indiana Pacers. And the question that we had last night was, can we roster which Golden State Warriors can be rostered in this game? This game can get out of hand and be a big blowout. We kind of saw that coming. The spread was huge. The Indiana Pacers on a back-to-back. Paul George is just trying to get back into good health. What were we going to see from this team? And I erred on the side of caution and said that the only player that I would start on the Golden State side would be Draymond Green and or Klay Thompson. And just so happens I didn't have any Draymond, but I had Klay Thompson in a couple spots, and he went out and had an awesome game. Klay Thompson didn't even play the fourth quarter, man. Didn't even play the fourth quarter at all. He went out and in 29 minutes scored 60 points, had 2 rebounds, and 1 assist. Excellent game shooting for Klay Thompson. We saw Kevin Durant for 22 minutes, and he had 20 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks. Steph Curry had 13 and 11 assists with 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 block. Pretty nice game from him, but not for that salary. At 9K, we needed to see more, but it was a blowout. So what do you expect? Jaja went out there and had 3 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals to go with the block. Pretty nice game from Pachulia at that price point. On the Indiana side of the ball, Paul George, man, he did double-double with 10 rebounds and 21 points. He also had 3 assists and a steal, but this was just a bad game from the Indiana perspective. Thad Young in 22 minutes had 10 points and 2 boards. We saw Jeff T for 25 minutes. He had 16, 3, and 6 with a steal. Just a not a good game at all, man. Not a good game at all from the Indiana side. Well, now that we have recapped last night's games, let's go ahead and jump into some player pricing. This is where we develop the pool of players in our head. We get a read and we get a beat on who we like tomorrow. Just a small player pool. Now, the most expensive player on the slate tomorrow is going to be Hassan Whiteside at 9.6K. And I can tell you right now, he is going to be the chalk. If this dude isn't in 30% of lineups, I'm not the DFS Caruso. And I'm your DFS Caruso. So you're going to see him all over the place. We got Jimmy Butler at 8.9. We got John Wall at 8.7. We got Gordon Hayward at 8.2. Karl Anthony Towns at 8.1. Porzingis at 8 flat. We've got Kawhi Leonard at 7.8. That salary is so far down on him. I like him tomorrow. We've got Carmelo Anthony at 7.6. No. Drummond against Chicago. Yes. Marc Gasol against Philadelphia. I kind of like that a little bit. Goran Dragic against the Knicks. I like that. We've got Joel Embiid against Memphis. 7.2. That price is up on him a little bit. Eric Bledsoe against that slow-paced Utah defense. I don't like that. Bradley Beal. I like Bradley Beal tomorrow, especially if something comes out and John Wall doesn't play. I love Bradley Beal in that circumstance. Mike Conley is out, of course. George Hill, we can check back on him, make sure he's going to be out. Otto Porter, 6.6. Rondo's going to be playing tomorrow, 6.5 for him. Derrick Rose, 6.4. I don't like that too much. Rudy Gobert against Phoenix. I kind of like that, 6.4. I like that. LaMarcus Aldridge against Minnesota, not so much. Serge Ibaka against Washington. I like Serge Ibaka against Washington tomorrow. We got Dwayne Wade against Detroit. He may sit in the back-to-back. Martin Gortat against Orlando at 6.1. Nikolai Vucevic at 6.1. I like that. Tobias Harris, 6K flat against Chicago. Nah, not against Jimmy Butler. Andrew Wiggins at 6K against Minnesota. Now, see, normally I would try to just avoid anybody that's playing against San Antonio, but tomorrow it's kind of a short slate. It's only 6 games, so we do have to, offer our attention to the San Antonio game. We must. Good thing they're playing up against a team that's one of the higher-paced teams in the league, and the best player on the floor usually dictates the game. So if that is, and there's a chance that it may be Kawhi Leonard, and it's also a chance the best player on the floor tomorrow might be Karl Anthony Towns. We've got Taj Gibson at 5.8. That's pretty good against Detroit. We've got KCP against Chicago at 5.7. That might be decent. Zach LaVine, 5.7. I might be able to get behind that. We got JaMychal Green at 5.7 against Philadelphia. I like that a lot. Reggie Jackson, he's still going to be on a minutes restriction, so we want to keep our eye on that to see how that goes. We've got Evan Fournier at 5.4, who I like that a lot tomorrow. Andrew Harrison, 5.3. No. Rodney Hood, I like him, 5.3. Gorgie Jang, 5.2. But back to Rodney Hood, man, if he's not shooting well, he can let you down. So that's a cautionary play right there. Tyler Johnson at 5.2 against the Knicks, that should be okay. Marcus Morris against Detroit. You can't shut all of them down. I mean, Detroit is playing really well right now, and they've got 4 guys who can carry you to the cash line. When we talk about Drummond, Tobias Harris, KCP when he's shooting hot, and Marcus Morris, they're all not going to be shut down tomorrow. So I'm going to have some exposure to some of them in different spots. I'm just not going to stack them. Sergio Rodriguez against Memphis. This is not Mike Conley defense. I like Sergio Rodriguez again tomorrow. As long as he's 5K, I like him. Zach Randolph might be out tomorrow. Ish Smith is coming off the bench now, so he's not in play. Robin Lopez at 4.9. No. Dario Saric, I like him tomorrow, especially if Robert Covington is out. James Johnson, no. Josh Richardson is questionable. We need to check on that.
Ricky Rubio may be a decent play tomorrow too. Ricky Rubio may be a decent play tomorrow. Bismack Biyombo, no. Troy Daines at 4.7. That price is still not up on him. Ersan Ilyasova 4.6. That's not that good. John Lure, I like him against Chicago 4.5 as a value play. Justin Holiday 4.5. Nah. Troy Williams 4.4. I can go for that. Tyson Chandler 4.3 against Utah. No. Miritic, no. Patty Mills only if he starts. And but see, Tony Parker got limited minutes tonight, so I don't know if Patty Mills is going to be starting. Wayne Ellington, no, I'm good on that. The price is up to 4.2. PJ Tucker may be a decent play against Utah. Trey Lyles, no. Tony Parker, Brandon Jennings, no. Cole Aldridge, Tony Allen, no. Nick Stauskas tomorrow for me. Alex Len is down to 3.9. You gotta take a shot on that. This game could blow out, and you gotta take a shot on Alex Len balling and some scrub love. You gotta take a chance on that. And Utah off a back-to-back, you gotta take a chance on that. Aaron Baines, DJ Augustine could be a decent play tomorrow, especially if we don't see John Wall. Danny Green at 3.7, no. Jeff Green, no. So there's not a lot of meat on the bone tomorrow. There's not a lot of meat on the bone. So we've got to first investigate the point totals and see which games we want to invest our DK salary and our FanDuel salary in. Let us start in Orlando, in Washington, with the Orlando Magic are coming to town. This is a 196.5 point total, with the Washington Wizards being the home favorite. They are giving up 3 points to the Orlando Magic. Now, of course, if John Wall's playing tomorrow, I like him. If he's playing and we don't hear any of that shit about minutes limits, I like him. If not, Beal is my man, and I'm stacking Beal, Morris, and Porter. Maybe some Gortat. I might go full game stack because you can do that. On a 6-game slate, man, there's 2 ways to take it. You can cherry pick, and it's better than if you try to do it on a 4 or 5-game slate. But you can also stack. And if John Wall doesn't play, I'm stacking everybody else. On the Orlando side, you've got to like Vucevic off of the bench. If he's going to see some of the Washington second team, you got to like him. Also, Serge Ibaka is coming off a 50-point DraftKings game. I think he still keeps that rolling tomorrow. Plays well against Martin Gortat. Not too much else I like. To attack the Washington perimeter is kind of foolish because we know John Wall is a pretty good defender if he plays. We know that Bradley Beal is a pretty good defender. They can get out on the wing. We have Otto Porter, so it's not really good to attack Washington on the perimeter. If you're going to do it, I say hit them down low in the bigs. The next game we're going to get into is going to be the Chicago Bulls on the second leg of a back-to-back, going to the Detroit Pistons. This is a 198 point total. All of these point totals are fairly low. We've got some slow grind out teams. There's a slow grind out team in every game tomorrow. So you're going to have to be on your P's and Q's and don't mind rostering the team that doesn't have a very high pace. We want to look for the teams that shoots the worst shooting teams, and then grab those rebounds from that team. And that next game is going to be one of them. The Chicago guys are not very good perimeter shooters. Neither are the Detroit guys. So anything outside of the paint, you're liable to get a rebound. And that's why I love Andre Drummond tomorrow. Andre Drummond is going to be a really good play. It's a 198 point total with Detroit giving up 5.5 at home. We may not see Dwayne Wade, which would definitely help because the guys behind Dwayne Wade can't shoot either. So we're going to see a lot of rebounding in this game. That even puts, for me, people like Marcus Morris is in play in this game. I think it's going to be a really good rebounding game for the Detroit side. On the Chicago side, you've got to like Jimmy Butler. He's also an excellent rebounder. I think he's going to make his way in a few of my lineups tomorrow. He would probably be the only, him and Nikolai Mirotic would probably be the only 2 guys that have a roster from the Chicago side. But on the Detroit side, I like everybody who starts with the exception of Reggie Jackson / Ish Smith. because Reggie isn't going to get enough playing time, and Ish isn't either coming off of the bench. The next game we're going to get into is going to be the New York Knicks traveling to the Miami Heat. This is a 204 point total, with the Miami Heat giving up 1 point just because they're at home. Hassan Whiteside, chalk, love him. Gotta love Hassan Whiteside tomorrow. If I'm just starting lineups, I would like to start with Hassan Whiteside tomorrow. He's gonna do a motherfucker with Joakim Noah. So I like him tomorrow. I definitely like Porzingis. I think Porzingis can draw uh, defenders away from the basket and shoot that jump shot again like he did the last game out. So I do like Porzingis. Um, I like Brandon Jennings only because he comes off the bench and going to be playing against the second team. And I think Dragic is also going to be a really nice player. You're going to see a lot of people stack those two. You're going to see a lot of people. If you notice when the Heat play, Dragic comes up the court. And watch this tomorrow. The very first things he does, he meets up with Hassan Whiteside at the top of the key. And it's kind of like a pick and roll thing, but he doesn't even have to take a pick all the time. He just runs a circle around under the basket, hoping that maybe just in his movement, Hassan Whiteside might get a step on his guy and he can just lob it up for an easy dunk. Like they do that every possession. Every time Dragic has the ball, first thing they do. And I think it's gonna work tomorrow against Joakim Noah and Kyle O'Quinn. So I do like Dragic and Whiteside tomorrow. I think you can stack them up. The next game we're gonna get into is gonna be the Philadelphia 76ers going to the Grindhouse to take on the Memphis Grizzlies. This is a 196.5 point total. This ties the Orlando Washington game for the lowest point total on the slate. However, the Memphis Grizzlies are giving up 8.5 to the Philadelphia 76ers. Now we know that we're not gonna see Jahlil Okafor tomorrow. We know that there's a minutes restriction on Joel Embiid. So that means one of two things. That means, oh shit, Rashawn Holmes and Ersan Ilyasova are in play, or JaMychal Green and Marc Gasol are gonna wreck shop. I'll take B. I'll take B. I'll go with Marc Gasol and JaMychal Green, and these are guys you can get on your roster and still get Whiteside, Dragic, Jimmy Butler, and a couple of cheapies here and there. So I definitely like the Memphis bigs in this game. And depending on Embiid is in play, he's definitely in play. I think we're not going to see the same ownership level that we saw on him last night, but we might because people love. I mean, there's a new rule in the sweatshop. It says it's just play Embiid somewhere. Just play him somewhere. You just got to because the dude is a monster. And when he gets to the point to where he doesn't have a minutes restriction, that salary is going to climb. That salary is going to climb. So get as much as you can now while he's under 9, 10K because it's not going to last forever. The next game we're going to get into is going to be a game that I'm going to have. I'm gonna have a lot more than I normally would invested in this game. This is the San Antonio Spurs going to Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves. It is a 207 point total. Funny, the highest point total on the slate is the Minnesota Timberwolves and the San Antonio Spurs. And that is because I think that the Minnesota Timberwolves are just so young and athletic that they are going to change the pace in which this game is played. The game is going to be in Minnesota. They're going to have the home crowd behind them. You're going to see Zach LaVine. You're going to see Ricky Rubio. They're going to be pushing the ball. And they've got really good rebounders that can get out and get in transition, throwing the ball down the court for passing. So I like Gorgie Jang in this game. I like um, Karl Anthony Towns. Uh, those are the two guys that I would definitely hang my hat on when it came to this game. And I have to look at it further before I pick a wing player. And you kind of can't go wrong uh, with uh, Zach LaVine. I kind of like Zach LaVine. He's gonna be seeing Danny Green, and you got Kawhi Leonard on Wiggins. So if I had to choose any like a wing player from the Minnesota Timberwolves, it would definitely be Zach LaVine. On the San Antonio side, I think they push this game to the limit. I think Minnesota pushes this team to the limit, and we see a full allotment from Kawhi Leonard. So I do like Kawhi Leonard a lot tomorrow. The next game and the last game on the slate that we're going to be getting into is going to be the Phoenix Suns traveling to Utah to take on the Jazz. The Jazz are the second leg of a back-to-back. Who's going to be starting in place of George Hill? Is George Hill not going to be playing? Those are questions that we need answered before lock. This is the last game on the slate, but we need to know this early. If this is information that we don't have, then we're going to have to fade certain parts of this game. We're going to have to. On the Utah side, Gordon Hayward is definitely going to be in play. He's going to be seeing a lot of PJ Tucker. I think he can definitely win that matchup, even in a back-to-back situation. It's a 204-point total, like I said, with Utah giving up 7.5 to Phoenix. Eric Bledsoe would be a decent play, but I don't think I'm going to be rolling with him tomorrow. If I know for sure that George Hill is not playing early, then I like him. I like Eric Bledsoe. Brandon Knight may see some second team off the bench, some second team action. Might be a decent play. Alex Lynn, we talked about him. I love Alex Lynn in this game, especially if the game blows out. I like Alex Lynn to go up against the second team. Rodney Hood, he can be a good play, but he's such a streaky shooter who does not do enough in the peripherals to roster him every night, night in and night out with confidence. So I don't know if you want to go that route. Sheldon Mack would be in play in this game. Dante Exum might be in play in this game, depending on if George Hill is out. There's a lot of different places we can go. This is going to be a tough safe to crack tomorrow's 6-game slate. And if you feel uncomfortable about it, remember our bankroll management comes into play. We take 10% of our complete bankroll every night to invest in new endeavors. And on a slate like this that we may not be comfortable with, we only go 5%. There's no need to lose it if you're not sure, right? So if you don't have lineups that you feel very confident in, don't put your full bankroll, your 10% in there. Just do 5. Just do 5. Now, this has been your DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. If you are looking for FanDuel knowledge, FanDuel advice, I suggest you go hit up my man Kyle and George over at the Sports World. Those are some really cool guys, man, doing this thing for the love. I definitely appreciate the help that they've given me so far. If you want to support the show further than you're doing now, because you are supporting the show just by looking, just by viewing, you're supporting the show. But if you'd like to support the show further, there's a few ways, a myriad of ways you can do so. The first thing you can do is you can go to www.dfssweatshop.com. You can register yourself there, get your subscription, get the password, get the inside access to everything that we're doing, from lineups, construction, roster building, bankroll management, everything, spreadsheets, the whole nine. You can do that, or you could simply click that link you see where it says support the show and hit the tip jar if you like. Whatever you like to do, as long as you keep watching, tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody that in a DFS sweatshop, our main goal, our number one purpose is to always keep it 3